there's one thing about this clock. It's there, but because of the lights, can you see it? The reflection is not easy. The glare is. Okay, good. So you can see for yourself how many minutes we have before 10:30.
One. No.
One, is that it? Is it 10:29? Oh, okay. Okay. I can't tell. All right, you guys can sit. Thank you.
Dad, be careful. What do I do? I don't know. Ask the rabbi to stay here.
Rabbi, do I stay here?
What?
Do I stay here or do I go down?
You're gonna start off down there.
Alright.
Cancer true, right?
I'm coming down. That's it.
And the right ones. Yeah. That's what I need. Yep.
They both play hockey.
You guys are good to go.
Clark. Good job, Bobby!
Looking for the Kaddish list that we had last night.
It was in the stack
I know, I
of
think so.
papers.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Hope you all have one of these devices. They open from right to left. We're going to open to page 70 and sing from Psalm 133. Words of welcome, words ascribed to King David of how good it is for us to be together on this morning. If you have other devices that are not like this, that might ring or vibrate or notify you that you've leveled up, please silence them. Today's a day of rest, so we can give our devices a day of rest as well as giving ourselves some respite from the electronics that dominate our lives. So as we turn to page 70, we'll sing together at the top of the page using the Hebrew on the right or the transliterated Hebrew on the left. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
We turn to page 74 as we begin our journey. That's good. It's important to kiss our loved ones. That's kind of the point of Shabbat. We begin our journey with a focus on just waking up in the morning, the blessing of our bodies getting us here, our ability to open our eyes, to put our feet on the ground, to stretch, to put on our clothing, to walk, to feel the questions in our mind begin to come, the ideas, the concerns, the hopes, the aspirations. That's the journey of a morning spiritual practice, which every meaningful, every compelling tradition has a spiritual practice, and it always begins with a focus on the body, a focus on the mind, and as well the soul, that place of gratitude and thanks for simply having woken up this morning. So let's turn to page 74 with Ma Tovu. Feeling grateful for this space that we come into and the space inside, both of which are meant to invite the Holy One into the world and into our lives. Ma Tovu 74.
Ma tovu, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Va'ani berach hasducha, ahavo
78, Elohai Neshama Shenatata Bi.
And I'd like to invite our bar mitzvah to join us. On page 78. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorai, Tehorai. Join with me at the top of 78. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorai, Tehorai. Go ahead.
My God, the soul you have given me is pure. You created it, you shaped it, you breathed it into me, and you protect it within me. For as long as my soul is within me, I offer thanks to you, Adonai my God and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. Praised are you, Adonai, in whose hand is in every living soul and the breath of humankind.
Bottom of the page.
Page 80, as we offer our morning blessings, we're told to say wow 100 times a day. The rabbis tell us, you got to say wow. How many times do any of you say wow in a day? How many? One? Twice. When? Morning and night. All right, well, that's your 1/50th of the way there. But you get the idea that if we actually pushed ourselves, nudged ourselves, told ourselves it's an obligation to get to wow 100 times a day, just might be that we'd actually feel a little bit more wow in our lives, a little bit more gratitude, hope, faith, enthusiasm. Okay, page 80. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. And now we go to the English, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. The English, who lifts up the fallen. Page 82.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Amen. 84. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who made me in the image of God.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who
The
girds
sons.
Israel with, who has made me a Jew.
Whatever spiritual path we follow, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who girds Israel with strength.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who crowns Israel with splendor.
Amen. 86. Last one.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'hetzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen. Page 88. 88. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world. Join us, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer,
and
making peace among people, but the study of Torah encompasses them all.
Return now to Baruch She'amar on page 94. 94.
Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch oseh v'reishit, Baruch omer v'yoseh, Baruch gozer umkayim, Baruch merachem al haaretz, Baruch merachem al habriot, Baruch meshalem sachar tov l'reiav, Baruch chai la'ad v'kayam la'netzach, Baruch podeh umatzil, Baruch shemo, bishvachot uvizimro negar lecha, unshabechacha unfarecha, v'nazkir shimcha, v'nahamichacha, malkeinu Eloheinu, yachid cheholomim, melech meshubach ומפואר עד יד שמו הגדול, ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך מחולל בתשבחות.
Page 97.
אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יהללוך סלה, אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו, תהילה לדוד, ארומימך אלוהי המלך, ועברך שמך לעולם ועד.
בכל יום אברכך, והללה שמך לעולם ועד.
גדול אדוני ומחולל מאוד, ולגדולתו אין חקר.
דור לדור ישבח מעשיך, וגבורותיך יגידו.
חדר כבוד הודיך, ודברי נפלותיך עשיך, ועזוז נרותיך יאמרו, וגדולתך אספרנה. זכר אהבתך יביעו, וצדקתך ירננו. חנון ורחום אדוני, ערך אפיים וגדל חסד. טוב אדוני לעקוב, ורחמיו על כל מעשיו. יודוך אדוני כל מעשיך, וחסידיך יברכוך.
Page 98, next
כבוד
page.
מלכותך יאמרו, וגבורתך ירברו. להודיע לבני אדם גבורותיו, וכבוד אדם מלכותו. מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים. עיני חולליך יסברו, ואתה נותן להם את אוכלם בעיתו. פותח את ידיך, ומסביר לכל חי רצון. צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו. קרוב אדוני לכל קוראיו, לכל אשר יקראוהו באמת. רצון יראיו יעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיעם. שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת כל הרשעים ישמיד. תהילת אדוני ידבר פיו, ויברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד. ואנחנו נברך ים מעתה ועד עולם.
Hallelujah. Page 100. Hallelujah.
Gonna need your help on this one, everybody. I need need to hear you nice and loud. Very difficult Hebrew word you may never have heard before. It goes like this. Hallelujah.
Repeat that. What was that, Cantor?
It goes like this. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
And the chorus is the bottom part. You see it says Kol Hanshama Tehallelya.
Last line.
Kol Hanshama Tehallelya. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I think you've got it. Hallelujah, Bekodsho. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Bilkiauzo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Bigvurotav. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Kirov Kulo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Hanshama Tehallelya. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Hanshama Tehallelya. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Beteka Shofar. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Benever Bechinor. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Betov Umachor. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Bemini Be'uga. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Hanshama Tehallelya. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Hanshama Tehallelya. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Betzilzele Shama. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Betzilzele Teruah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Hanshama Tehallelya. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Hanshama Tehallelya.
Page 101.
Having offered praises with all the instruments of the orchestra, we now shift to the most important instrument, our breath. Nishmat kol chai tevarech et shimcha Adonai Eloheinu. Nishmat kol chai tevarech et shimcha Adonai Eloheinu. Lai 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 ya la 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 lai 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 la lai 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 ya lai 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 la lai ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai lai lai. All things that live to God thanks must give. Adonai Eloheinu. Nishmat kol chai tevarech et shimcha Adonai Eloheinu. Lai 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 lai
Together, even if our mouths were full of song as the sea, and our tongues full of joy in countless waves, and our lips full of praise as wide as the sky's expanse, and were our eyes to shine like sun and moon, If our hands were spread out like heaven's eagles, and our feet swift like young deer, we could never thank you adequately, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, to bless your name for a 10,000th of the many myriad of times
you granted favors to our ancestors and to us.
Page 104.
Second paragraph. Shochen ad marom v'kadosh shemo v'chatov ranenu tzadikim b'Adonai l'sharim v'tehila b'fi sharim tihitalal ודברי צדיקים תתברך, ובלשון חסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תקדש. ובמקלות רביבות עמך בית ישראל, ברינה יתפאר שמך מלכנו, בכל דור ודור. Top of 105. ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ, כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו, ולאבותינו ואימותינו שירו שחר הלל וזמרה, עוז וממשלה נצח, גדולה וגבורה, תהילה ותפארת, קדושה ומלכות, ברכות והוראות מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלך גדול בתשפחות, אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות, הבוכה בשירי זמרה, מלך מלכי העולמים.
106 חצי קדוש.
יקדל ויקדש שמי רבה, וילמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולמי עלמיה, יפרח וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן דיעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
Please rise. 108.
Lai 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 lai
יוצר אור
עושה שלום, בורא את הכל.
Praised are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, creator
Creator
of light and darkness,
who
Makes peace and fashions all things.
and
In
mercy
mercy you illumine the world
and those who live upon it.
In your goodness you daily renew creation.
How
How numerous are your works, Adonai.
In
Wisdom you formed them all, filling the earth with your creations.
Be
Be
praised,
Praise Adonai our God
for
the excellent work of your hands.
and
for
for
the
the
Lights you created,
may
may they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we may all swiftly merit its radiance.
Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly things.
אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה, אדוני, יוצא
Page 112.
אהבה רבה אהבתנו, אדוני אלוהינו, חמלה גדולה ויתרה, חמלת עלינו. בעבור אבותינו ואימותינו, שבטחו בך, שבטחו בך, עד למדים חוקי חיים. כן תכוננו, עוד למדנו, עוד למדנו. רחם רחם עלינו, ותן בליבנו, ואבינו להשכיל לשמוע, ללמוד ולמד, לשמור ולעשות ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה.
Love your neighbor as yourself, you said, and like
And like
blind
blind
we
we
saw
saw
that inner and outer words are one. As you are one, you spoke and we wrote. You reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us as we climbed, fell back, and climbed again. Your Sinai of life.
ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה.
114.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
116.
You may be seated.
Please be seated. Very good.
You may be seated.
Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibortam bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha b'derech uvshokbecha uvkumecha uvshartam leod al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי וייתן קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמן
22 as we turn to our song for redemption, Michamocha. Begin the Amidah standing prayer on page 124.
Adonai sifatai tifanu fi tehillah. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'elav Elon ha'gibur ve'hanora, El Elyon, gomel chasadim tovim ve'konei hakol. חסדי אבות ואימהות, מביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ואהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם חיי הכל אתה רב והושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם. I wish it felt more like winter in this room. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ונופל חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים Yes. בעולם. כשם שמתישים אותו בשמי מרום, הכתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ויאמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, אדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד לך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד לך. ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך קדושתך נקדיש. ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור, לדור ודור,
דור ודור.
לדור ודור נגיד לך. לדור ודור,
דור ודור.
לדור ודור,
דור ודור.
לדור ודור נגיד לך. בשמך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. בשמך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Take a moment for our own private, personal prayer, the text on the page, the meditations of your heart, and we will come together in a few moments on page 140 in a prayer for peace.
Private meditations at your own pace. You can also join me on page 140 for the morning prayer for wholeness and peace. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, ein v'chesed v'rachamim, v'rachamim. Israel, ve'al kol Israel amecha. Barecheinu yotzeinu kulanu ke'echad, be'or panecha
אמין ואהבת חסד ואהבת חסד וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים ושלום שים שלום שים שלום תורה וברכה חיים וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל עמך וטוב וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך בשלומך שים שלום תורה וברכה חיים וחסד ורחמים ברחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל עמך ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
One final prayer for peace before we transition on 142. We sing at the bottom, Oseh Shalom Bibromav.
עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
So we want to ask to join us up to begin our Torah service. Noah, Heller, and Morgan and Wendy, come on up.
And I'd like to ask if one or two of our young guests would be so kind. We have these Humashim, the red books, in the back, so you can follow along. If you'd like to, someone would like to get a stack of them and hand them out, you can follow along with us as William chants from the Torah. Thank you,
Okay,
gentlemen.
William's coming up.
Come
William.
on. You know, here. We're on page 244 in the blue books.
אין כמוך באלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך. מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אב הרחמים היטיבה ברצונך לציון, תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות ירושלים, כי בך לבד בטחנו
248.
Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael Bekedushato.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gedol Adonenu, Kedosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai iti, Uneromema Shemo Yachdav. Lecha Adonai Agedol ve'agevura ve'atiferet ve'hanetzach ve'hahor ki chol bashamayim uvaretz ki chol bashamayim uvaretz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'naseh lechol lerosh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'hishtachavu lehar kodsho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. The Torah is at rest. We also can be at rest. Please be seated.
Okay. We've arrived at the moments, the big moments. You understand that as a people, we have this fantasy. Fantasy, by the way, is a good thing. Fantasy is a good thing. We have this fantasy, this image, this imagination that every time we take the Torah out of the ark, every time a young person read from the Torah, we're actually standing, sitting, not in Great Neck, but at Mount Sinai. It's a reenactment of the most important moment in Jewish history. That is the giving of the Torah, of the Ten Commandments. So,
If you have a red book and you'd like to follow along,
exactly,
we are reading from Parshat Shmini, Leviticus chapter 9. That's on page 630. 630.
and so for the wonderful honor of the first Aliyah, we want to call up the Hellers, Philip and Pam and Noah and Mark. Ya'amdu mishpacha Heller likvod Torah, when these brothers and siblings and so forth. Come on up, friends, family, uncle, cousins. What? Hold 1 second. Let me just move this stuff closer. You have your yad right there. Come in. William, you need to be here. Do you have your yad there in your hand? Do you have the yad? No.
See where we're starting? Point that out to your uncles.
Okay, so on 3, family.
Baruch
Adonai Habarach,
Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Barach
Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher baha banu mikol ha'amin, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vahi bayom hashmini kara Moshe le'Aharon uvanav uziknei Yisrael vayomer el Aharon leha egel ben bakar lehatat va'ayu leolah temimim v'hakrev lifnei Adonai ve'el b'nei Yisrael to the bear lemor kehu se'er izim lehatat va'egel va'heves v'neshana temimim leolah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah. V'hayei olam nata Torahenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Beautiful. Thank you, aunt and uncle and cousins, and take your seats.
I'll get you. Sure.
And so, for the honor of the second Aliyah, we want to call up grandparents, Grandma and Grandpa, Lois and Neil Heller. Ya'amdu Saba v'Safta Heller lichvod HaTorah. Yes, come this way. Come this way. Come this way. No rush. Take your time. It takes time to climb Mount Sinai. I know you are. I'm holding your arm for me, not for you. It's for my sake. Cantor's back.
Doing a good job.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to offer the blessing.
What do you want me to do?
Offer the blessing.
Just tell me where.
Baruch et Adonai.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamavarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Point. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu Torat emet. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. B'shor va'ayir lishlamim lisboa lifnei Adonai uminha belula v'shemen ki hayom Adonai nir'a alehem vayikehu et asher siva Moshe el pnei ohel moed v'yakrevu kol ha'edah v'ya'amdu lifnei Adonai v'yomer Moshe zeh hadabar asher tziva Adonai ta'asu v'yirach alehem kevod Adonai.
All right, Grandpa's, the after blessing, Grandpa.
I say this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam notah b'torchenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Those Hebrew letters never leave your mind, your memory.
Certain things you don't forget.
Certain things you don't forget. Beautiful. Okay, come on down safely. Take your time. All right. Now, well, two beautiful aliyots. And now, for the third aliyah, we want to ask your Ima, your mom, Wendy, to come up to Amod, and also Morgan, to Amdu, Ima ve'ach shalcha lichvod HaTorah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Hu Ata. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. V'yomer Moshe el Aharon kerav el hamizbeah ve'aseh et hatata va'et olateha ve'haper ba'adha uv'ad ha'am va'aseh et korban ha'am ve'haper ba'adam Ka'asher tzivah Adonai. Vayikrav Aharon el hamizbeah, vayishhat et ha'olah, et egel hahatat asher lo. Vayikrevu b'nei Aharon et hadam elav. Vayitbo etzba'o badam vayitain al kornos hamizbeah va'et hadam yasak al yosod hamizbeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Okay, so stay here. Don't leave. You've reached the peak, the top of Mount Sinai, and now Moshe, right, William, is about to receive the Torah and give it to us all at the same time. So
The reading continues on chapter 9, chapter 9, verse 10 on page 631.
Good. So, William, I'm about to call you to the Torah. The readings that you've been doing are wonderful, but actually this is the moment that we call you with your Hebrew name, that you become, and the moment that you actually recite the blessing that your family is, each of them has just recited. That's the moment you become a bar mitzvah. And the last word of what I'm going to say when I call you is chazak. It's a bit, which means strength. And you are a young man who, it's clear, is just growing in your strength, your physical strength, your intellectual, your emotional strength. It's all growing, and it's a description of who you are, and also a prescription of who you are called to become. Okay? So here it is. Yamod, abachor bar mitzvah, velvel ben devora, chazak.
Baruch et Adonai Hamevarah.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamevarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yeah, I got it. Amen. ואת ההילב, ואת הקריות, ואת היותרת, מן הכבד, מן ההטת, הקטיר המזבח כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה. ואת הבשר, ואת האור, שרף באש, מחוץ למחנה, וישחט את העולה, וימשיאו בני אהרון אליו את הדם, ויזרקהו על המזבח סביב. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Beautifully done. You know, it's a great thing when you stand and watch anyone, you're next to anyone chanting Torah, particularly a bar and bat mitzvah student, we can truly feel the person thinking. So one of the challenges that every bar bat mitzvah student faces, any reader of Torah, is like you get to the end of the line, and it's like, wait a second, I know the next word, but I need to not skip a line. I need to like go down and come back. I love watching you think and how precisely you chanted. Beautiful job. Okay, so you guys can sit for a moment as we offer a prayer for healing.
If there's anyone for whom you are offering prayers for recovery of body or spirit, hold their names and their faces in the forefront of your vision and in your hearts as we turn to page 253, in the middle of the page, in the indented paragraph. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
So now we'll offer a series of first one being, I ask Elaine Springer, wonderful leader and member of our community, on page 258 to lead us there for the congregation, and right after that, lead us in prayer for the nation, and we'll ask cousins Melissa and Andrew, and then for the prayer for Israel, cousins Rhonda and Phil. I'll tell you when your moment is happening. I'm just preparing you.
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai she'odcha levadcha b'yirat na'avod. Thank you, Elaine. Gives so much to this community, so much presence and engagement and leadership, and we're grateful to you. Okay, cousins Melissa and Andrew, if I can ask you to come up, Carters, to offer our prayer for the nation. We need a lot of prayers, in my humble opinion. We're on 258.
You start. Yeah. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of this earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
Amen. Mazel tov. Thank you so much. It's a little bit like dancing. You know, someone's got to lead and someone's got to follow. You did great. You did great. Okay, and our prayer for Israel on page 259, if we can ask cousins Rhonda and Phil. Rhonda and Phil.
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and we are now going to raise and dress the Torah. So if I can ask Brian for you to come up, thank you, with the honor of raising the Torah. Such an honor to raise it and to have you do so. And as well, Bruce, Uncle Bruce, if you'd come up as well. And, help us dress the Torah.
We're on page 252 at the bottom of the page.
Come up here. Have you ever done this before?
Please rise. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Morashat Keilat Yaakov, Morashat Keilat Yaakov, Morashat Keilat Yaakov. Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Torah tziva lanu Moshe. The Torah is at rest, and so may you. Please be seated.
Except for you, Mr. Bar Mitzvah boy. William, coming up, we're going to hear your wonderful words of Torah as you lead us, as you teach us an insight about what we've just read.
Okay. Be funny.
Okay.
Do you want this? Do you want the stool? Do you want the stool?
No, I'm okay. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Talk right into that mic.
Thank you all for coming. My Torah portion is Shmini. We're in the middle of the book of Leviticus. The opening words of my Torah portion are Vahi Bayom HaShmini, and it happens on the 8th day. The obvious question is what? What happened on the 8th day? That is what I want to talk about. The 8th day described at the outset of my portion, and also other connections to 8 days in our Jewish tradition. Parsha Shmini begins by telling us about the 8th day of the ceremony that completes the building of the Mikdash, the sanctuary for the Israelites, the Jewish people. In Exodus 25, we were told, Asu li Mikdash, build a Mikdash so that God would dwell within us. In Leviticus, we are told about the sacrifices that are supposed to happen in this Mikdash. God instructs Aaron to sacrifice on the altar a calf and a ram, and then we are told the deeper meaning, the real purpose for these sacrifices. Here are the two reasons. First, so that God's presence will appear to the people. Secondly, to atone for the sins of Aaron, his family, and for all of the people. As I said, these sacrifices were to happen on the 8th day of this 8-day celebration. A common question is, what does it mean that God's presence will appear to the people? At first, I certainly did not completely know what this meant. After discussing this with Rabbi Meir, I think I now have an idea. We do lots of things to create a special feeling in our homes. All of us want a home to be a place of caring and respect and kindness, a place that helps us connect with what is most important in life. I think those are the values that the sanctuary and temple are trying to place inside of us. Like the sanctuary, there are many ways we try to make our homes special and meaningful as well. I see it very clear in my family's home. In our home, like most Jewish homes, we have a mezuzah on our door. The mezuzah is there to remind me and every Jewish person who walks into my home that we are Jewish. Our people, our religion, our celebrations help to give our home more meaning and more warmth. We have Shabbat candlesticks that bring in Shabbat on Friday evenings. We have a Kiddush cup for Shabbat and holidays. And our home has Jewish books and other things that make it clear that this is a Jewish home. And so on. Now I see that all these things are meant to make our homes more special and full of warmth and kindness. All of these things are what the Torah means by God's presence. I want to mention one other Jewish object in my home, and maybe yours too, a Hanukkah Menorah. You might wonder why I mentioned Hanukkah, which is back in December. Let me explain. Think back to the opening verses that I chanted, and it happened on the 8th day. When I first started working on this Devar Torah, it was exactly during the time of Hanukkah. This led me and Rabbi Meir to connect this portion to Hanukkah. On Hanukkah, the Maccabees were fighting against the Greeks/Assyrians who told the Jews that we couldn't practice our religion. The Greeks had taken over a communal Jewish home, the temple in Jerusalem. We all know the story. The Maccabees defeated the Greeks and found a jar of oil in the temple that seemed like it would only last one day, but miraculously it lasted, yes, we all know, 8 days instead of 1. Both Hanukkah and my Torah portion tell us that the number 8 is important in our tradition. And now let's conclude by thinking about the end of the 7th day, at the end of every Shabbat. What do? We create light for Havdalah. I now see that every 8th day is also like day 1. The original day 1 has God creating light, and which is also the 8th day, has us human beings making light. We too, as human beings, can create light. What I now realize is that this is exactly what the Torah and God want us to do. Lighting the Havdalah candle at the end of Shabbat is an example of that. It's a way of reminding us every week that our job is to bring light into our homes and also the world. Rabbi Meir asked me to think about what I value most about being Jewish. This bar mitzvah process has helped me realize that this section of my Devar Torah connects to the first one. An important Jewish value to me is the family gatherings that we have on certain holidays. Our homes are a place of safeness, warmth, and kindness. This connects to this Jewish value as the celebrations with my family give me that same feeling. The feeling of comfort and love. Furthermore, having my family at home further emphasizes that feeling of warmth and love in my home. Rabbi Meir also asks every bar and bat mitzvah student to talk to our grandparents about if they ever had a bar or bat mitzvah. The purpose of this is that we can connect with our family members and learn about what their lives were like when they were my age. I was told by my grandma, and also my mom, that during the time when my grandma was my age, most women didn't have bat mitzvahs as they were not permitted to read from the Torah. I felt as though this was very unfair because everyone is equal and deserves to celebrate this joyous occasion, and unless she feels the same way. However, my grandpa did have a bar mitzvah. After talking about it with him, I can see that it was a very important event where many attended. He was very proud to be a bar mitzvah and worked hard to make sure he was prepared. Every bar mitzvah student is also asked to take on a mitzvah project. I think this makes a lot of sense. Now that I am becoming a Jewish adult, it's a good time for me to begin to do more for others. One passion that I've had for a while is caring for and helping animals. When I was younger, I always had a love for animals. I was so happy when I got my first real pet, a bunny, who we named Cuddles. I had Cuddles for a very long time, over 8 years. He had a special place in my family and in my heart. Cuddles passed away in September of 2021. Recently, however, I got a dog, Bo, an Australian Labradoodle who I love so much. Because I love animals, it pains me so much to see animals that don't have a home or have been mistreated. This is why my mitzvah project is to work with animals in need. There are so many people in my life who have helped me get up to this point, and they deserve a special thanks. I would like to thank Rabbi Meir for helping me understand the meaning of my Torah portion and working on this Devar Torah with me. I could not have finished this without you. I would like to thank Rabbi Tara for always being so warm and caring. I would like to thank Cantor Adam for providing me with the knowledge needed to learn all my prayers and complete my Torah portion, and for teaching me what it means to be a bar mitzvah. I would also like to thank David, Wolf, and the temple for providing me with a Jewish education. I would like to thank my dad for always being there. I would like to thank my big brother, Morgan, for being my best friend and for always being my protector. I would also like to thank my grandparents for always being so loving and taking such good care of me. And lastly, I would especially like to thank my mom for being so supportive and encouraging me to work so hard so I can achieve my goals. I love you. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael.
Okay, I'm going to take this Torah up, and maybe come on up to the Ark. Brian, you too, and Morgan. As we return to the Torah, to the Ark.
We're on page 254.
William, we need you.
Ki lekach tov natati lahem Torati al tazovu etz chayim hi hamachazikim ba
William, I am so very proud of you today and how well you did leading the congregation in prayer this morning. If you could believe it, I too was bat mitzvahed from Temple Beth-El. While there may be different rabbis and the temple may have been renovated since my time here at Temple Beth-El, One thing that has remained the same is the sense of community, the welcomeness, and the love that is felt when you walk into the synagogue. William, today is a day to celebrate you and all your enormous accomplishments. Yes, being a bar mitzvah is a rite of passage, a celebration of your 13th birthday and becoming a man in the Jewish religion. However, to me, it is also a celebration of your tremendous growth as a human being and all your hard work. You are the most conscientious, kind-hearted, and caring person I know. Whatever goal you set for yourself, you can achieve. It is hard to believe that you are the same boy as the one I used to get phone calls from, your kindergarten teacher. That year, I think you spent more time with the principal than in your own classroom. I remember the principal saying to me how smart you were and that she couldn't imagine why the teacher always sent you to her office when you seemed so well behaved and colored so nicely in her office. We learned it was not you, but your teacher that should have been spending the time in the principal's office. Since that time, you learned to believe in yourself. You now see how smart you are, and you have learned that with hard work you can accomplish anything. You are a straight-A student, you have made honor roll every quarter since you entered middle school, and you have earned so many awards for your academic success. I now get unsolicited emails from your teachers telling me how special you are, and that they are so happy that you are in their class. Throughout your years ahead, there will be many obstacles that you will have to overcome. However, I know you are equipped to handle them. Your compassion for others and hard work ethic will serve you well throughout your life. Remember to always believe in yourself and allow your inner light to shine as brightly as humanly possible. I cannot wait to see what life holds for you. I am incredibly honored to be on this journey with you, and I want you to know that no matter what, I will be here for you. I will always be your biggest cheerleader and here to help you navigate life. Thank you to Cantor Adam for preparing William so well for this day. Thank you to Rabbi Tara for always being so warm and welcoming. Thank you to Rabbi Meir for taking the time to teach William the meaning of his Torah portion and for always being so supportive, warm, and caring. The kindness you have shown William throughout this process has provided him with a lifelong positive feeling about being Jewish and our heritage. Thank you all for coming.
This is the beginning of a journey for William, not an end. And so we share these words for the journey that he is about to embark upon. Please join me on page 341. Lechi lach to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha to a place you do not know. Lechi lach on your journey I will bless you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Lechi lach. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha. And all shall praise your name. That I will show you. Lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lechi lach.
All right, Wendy and Morgan, you can go down. William, I'm going to take you up there. All right, William, you're up with me. So, I'm not sure if you know this, but breathe, just breathe. did it. As your mom said, as everyone can see, you've done such a beautiful job because you are that kind of a person, a beautiful human being. And I want to share with you a word. You know what they say, a rabbi's word.
It's like dog ears.
Tough. Psst, tough. All right. So, it's really meaningful, William, for me to be here with you this morning. Actually, a week ago, I wasn't totally clear how that would work, but it's really important and special for me to get to be here and feel your presence, your kavod, as it were. I've told you this multiple times just in our meetings, but now I want to say to everyone, you know, how much I really appreciate the time we've spent together. You're profoundly smart and deeply thoughtful. I said that to you actually without knowing what an extraordinary, stellar, grade getter student you are, but it was clear to me that that's likely the case. You're a little bit quirky and you have some surprises inside of you. And you have a quiet, but I would say a strong and growing self-confidence. I mean, in my presence, it's kind of quiet. Maybe, I don't know if others, you let it out more. But you are becoming more and more mature. I've seen it over the years. It's amazing. And in my time with you, it's as if your mom and I collaborated. We didn't. But I feel a very special quality, a light, William, a spark, that I know will travel with you. It will shine brightly upon you and on all who get to be close to you throughout your life. Tara and I give every student at this moment a special gift on the occasion of your bar or a bat mitzvah. We give a gift that travels light. It's a special verse from your parsha. So I want to read the verse which you chanted. It was the very first verse. I'm not even going to repeat the whole thing. Vayehi bayom hashmini, right? Kara Moshe laharon levanav. And it happened on the 8th day. Okay? And I want to add to what you so beautifully taught us. I want to just think a little bit even further, more deeply about it. 1,000 years ago or so, a famous Jewish commentator named Rashi, he said this, Vayehi bayom hashmini, on the 8th day, that was the installation of the priests into their sacred office. That's Aaron and his sons. But it's also the official completion of the tabernacle. And on that day, says the Midrash that Rashi quotes, the tabernacle received 10 crowns. 10 crowns, keter. But what were those crowns? What was the royalty hinted at by those crowns? And I want to give an answer that Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, who shared his music, his stories, and his spiritual depth to communities all over the world just a few decades ago. We're jumping from Rashi 1,000 years ago to Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach a few decades ago. And he also asked the question, what does it mean that the tabernacle received 10 crowns, Vayehi bayom hashmini, on the 8th day? And here are Rabbi Carlebach's, here's what he has to say about it. He says, usually with a guitar around his neck, and he'd say, you know, friends, in a crazy way, we all want everything. But you know what we really want? We have a feeling that there is something in the world which we don't know of yet, but it's the deepest thing in the world. And this parsha begins with Vayehi bayom hashmini. It happened on the 8th day. You know, friends, we're living in a world where there's so much longing for that 8th day. And then he says, take the whole generation of the 60s. He was very immersed in that culture. They weren't looking for the 7th day. They were looking for the glory of the 8th day. And then Nebuch, they lost faith in the world, and they decided, okay, let's drop out. There's no 8th day. He continues, he says, do we know why our children are sometimes upset with us? Because we didn't speak to them about Vayehi bayom hashmini, about the 8th day. It's actually not a fixed place or a fixed time. It's an intuition, William. Rabbi Carlebach was whispering to you back then. It's an intuition of faith. It's a certainty that goodness and beauty, that purpose and love truly can happen. Here, now. That's the 8th day. We didn't tell our children that a Jew can run into Vayehi B'Yom HaShmini from the lowest place in their lives or the lowest place in the world. Vayehi B'Yom HaShmini, the 8th day, we are always, always welcome there. Okay, those were Rabbi Carlebach's words. Let me explain, William, why in my mind any of this has to do with you. First, it's clear to me, you are a person with hope, with optimism, and idealism. Like young people in prior generations, you have an intuition that there is a time or place where us human beings can bring about that Vayehi B'Yom HaShmini experience. It describes you to a degree. Vayehi B'Yom HaShmini. Here's the second reason I give this verse to you. It's because the world needs this now more than ever. The world imagined by Vayehi B'Yom HaShmini feels even farther away today than it did any time before, maybe in my life. Probably in your life as well. We face so many existential challenges. It's even easier these days to just give up, to quit, to say that idealism and dreams are a waste of time and energy and kind of ridiculous. Whether it's the Ukraine or nuclear weapons or climate change or racism, anti-Semitism, hate of some form or another, it can all feel pretty darn overwhelming. But I have a sense, William, that you have the fortitude, the wisdom to know that yours is not to finish the job. Yours is to just do your part. And that you have gifts that do matter. Your part is important. Not big enough to solve anything alone, but definitely big enough to help, to make a positive difference. And so lastly, William, my third reason, final reason, I've wondered how do you have this self-confidence, this quiet strength and certainty that you matter, that you can play a part in a future that includes Vayehi B'Yom HaShmini? And here's what I mean. Like you with your grandparents as a boy, I got to live with my grandma for 10 years, from the ages of 8 to 18 years old. It was kind of amazing. I never have forgotten the blessing of my grandma's mocha cake, sleeping on her shoulder, just watching her do the basic chores of her life. Having my grandma in my life and in my home, my childhood home, gave me a sense of peace, a calm, a quiet self-confidence. I think that grandparents have a special key, special access to the Vayehi B'Yom HaShmini that happened on the 8th day. Because of that good fortune, I think your life, and many other reasons, but specifically because of that at this moment, I think your life will forever be more blessed, more full, more filled with hope and optimism and faith. And so, William, I come to my blessing for you. May this moment be a lifelong memory filled with joy and purpose, of laughter and humor. May this moment inspire you to continue to grow. May you remember this moment when confronting life's challenges. May you always know that your family, friends, and your community are here for you. Please know, William, the world is a better place when you have the courage to be fully you. May you think of this bar mitzvah experience every time the Torah comes from the ark. May all of us have opportunities in the coming years to learn and grow and have fun together. May you feel tremendously proud to be a Jew. And finally, may you know that there are very few paths in life, if any, that will feed your soul as much as your Jewish path. I ask everyone to rise.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך, יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה, יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום.
Turn to 282 for Elaine.
Page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Be seated. Oops. Loud. As always, we conclude a place of memory. Before we conclude, we remember, so we'll offer the mourner's Kaddish, then we'll get to hear a wonderful word from Elaine, our congregational leader, and then we'll close with Kiddush and Motzi. So we remember in our community, Temple Beth-El community, first of all, Devorah Bat Basia V'chaim, Dottie Feldman, my beloved mom. Anyone? I don't think anyone else. Anyone else had lose someone in the last week? Remember those in the period of Shloshim, 30 days, Barbara Gershenson, Eli Marcus, and Arnold Rosenfeld.
Also, Marion Sherman.
And as well, the Yortzeit of those who were passed sometime in this week in prior years. Norman Jeff Auerbach, Fred Feldman, Sadie Gross, Jeanette Hollins, Louis Hollins, Stuart Larrick, Rebecca Levine, Belle Nassau, Abram Rosen, Arthur Spiro, and Annette Zitron. If you're here remembering anyone in any stage of your mourning, if you want to rise and share the name, feel free to do so. Otherwise, let's all rise, and we'll offer the mourner's Kaddish together.
Page 294.
Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemer Rabba.
Amen.
V'yalma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute. V'chayachon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Bagalav izman kariv v'imru
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Olamei Almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal Shemei D'Kudusha Prechu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'miran b'yalma v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru
Amen.
Okay, you can be seated, and I want to ask Elaine Springer, a wonderful congregational leader. Elaine has some gifts for you and
Come on up.
her message of blessing.
Come on up.
Come. I don't bite. All right, come around to the side. Long morning, but very good. Good morning, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Congratulations, William, on leading us in prayer and chanting your Torah portion. As a very active member of TBE and a former trustee of our temple board, I wish you a mazel tov. After 2 years of Zooming, it feels great to be back in our chapel on this special Shabbat morning. I have been given the honor and this opportunity to present to you a couple of gifts. They are as follows: your own Chumash, the Jewish Book of Why, that hopefully answers a lot of your questions that you will have from now until way into adulthood. Kiddush cup that's from Sisterhood and Brotherhood. A tzedakah box from Kulanu. The letter you wrote to yourself from your 6th grade retreat. And in the envelope, which you saw everybody sign, is your bar mitzvah certificate signed by our clergy and everyone else, written proof of this special day. May you continue to play a part in the life of our temple community as you grow and continue your learning. As it has been said many times, this is just the beginning. Again, William, mazel tov to you and to your family. You're welcome.
Thank you. We can take your bag down to your family, actually, and mom and brother can come, go on down, yep, can come up. William, Morgan, Wendy, Neil, and Lois come up to lead us in Kiddush, and Motzi, come on up, and after that, we'll close with a Don Olam. Come on.
Neil and Lois, come on up. While they're coming up, William, just a little anecdote. You're going to join us. Come on up. A friend of mine recently texted to me something she found, well into her 40s. She found her bat mitzvah certificate. She said, "I haven't seen this in over 3 decades. I never even thought to frame it." That being said, the other gifts she got on her bat mitzvah, like the ones you got, a Kiddush cup, a tzedakah box, they are things that she's used throughout her life. And I hope that these gifts that you've been given are things that will help you take the next step on your Jewish journey and help you celebrate Shabbat and connect to your family every Friday night. So, with that said, page 300.
Here you go. William, Grandpa, maybe pick up the Kiddush cup. Right there, just pick it up. Pick it up. I don't know. Anyone can hold it if you prefer.
Hold it.
Hold it. All right, let's go.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Page 301. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו. Sabri. Go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Amen.
Grandpa, take a drink. Take a drink. And you too, William.
I know William's looking forward to this.
Who's ever doing it?
William,
Wendy, you can.
Yeah, Wendy, you can do so too.
It's one of the
Big
obligations
gulps.
of being a man.
There you go.
Drink wine. That
Kedem.
may you forever not enjoy wine.
Great
Or that's
vintage.
not true.
Tuesday.
All right, put it down and pick up two little chalot. Here you go, right there. Pick both of them up. Exactly like that. Hold them.
Nice.
And motzi.
Baruch
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. All right, take a piece of a little or big or some piece of challah, and we will conclude with Adon Olam on page
321.
321.
Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yatzir nivra nasa b'chetzotot azay melech shelo nikra ve'afcharei kiflot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu hayam ve'hu omer ve'hu yiyeh בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני והמשיל לו להבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חמלי ויצרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי ונתגוזי ביום וקרא בידו אביד רוחי ויתישן ויעירה ועם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא יירא. שבת שלום.
Mazel tov and Shabbat shalom. Mazel tov.